Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. My creative team package from scrapbook.com just arrived and there are so many fun products. Here's a quick look at what I received. Stencils, stamps, dies, so many great products. And if you are interested in any of the products I show in this video, I do have links in the description box below. I'll start off by showing the new stencils. All of the new stencil sets are 6 by 8 inches. The first stencil set is called Bricks. Always good to have a nice brick design. Then we have Flutter. Lots of fun little butterflies. Next is Geometric Snowflake. So we have some larger snowflakes and some teeny tiny dots for snowfall. There are 2 new checkered stencils, small and large. I think these will be really fun for creating backgrounds. The first 5 stencil sets I showed are a single layer stencil. The next one is a 2-layer stencil and it's called Batty. I'll pull it out of the package so you can see the 2 different layers, and I love that you can use them separately or together. One has all of the bats flying in the sky and the other has a bunch of small twinkle stars in the background. The final stencil set is another 2-layer stencil. It's called Ice Cream Cones. So one stencil layer has the ice cream and the other has the cone. And I will be using this stencil on a card later on in the video. The next product is a pattern paper pad called Holiday. Now I already had this in the A2 size, but now I have the 6 by 8 size. I love scrapbook.com's pattern paper. There are 40 sheets and it's a nice heavyweight cardstock. 230 GSMs. There are 5 of each design and these are all double-sided. I love the mix of traditional Christmas colors. You have the reds and greens, and there are also some non-traditional Christmas colors. Pretty pinks, there's browns, sort of a golden yellow color. This is a fun design with the sentiment joy all over it. There's some beautiful ornament designs. Now I'll flip it around so you can see the other side. I do have a video up on scrapbook.com's channel using this paper collection, and I will add a link in the description box if you want to watch it. I made 4 different cards and really focused on the beautiful pattern paper in this collection. This is another fun design with foliage and candy canes, and then we have a dark green with stars. So here's a look at the comparison between the 6 by 8 paper pad and the A2. Now moving on to some of the standalone die sets. Both of them are perfect for summertime cards. I have Summertime and Beach Vacation. You may recognize Summertime with the crab sandcastle. There's flip-flops, sunglasses. I did use this die set in a video earlier this year, and I'll add a link to that video at the end of this video. But the Beach Vacation is brand new to me, and the 2 collections do work well together. Beach Vacation has the sun, an umbrella, a beach chair, palm trees. It even has the die to cut out the little sandy background hill. I know it's been Christmas in July all month, but I'm ready to make some more summertime cards. Although now I'll switch back to Christmas because I do have a Christmas sentiment die set. This one's called Happy Holidays Set Number 1. It includes both Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas sentiments along with the shadow die. Now we'll switch back to summer again. The stamp set Hello Summer has already been available at scrapbook.com, but now they have the coordinating dies. So if you were waiting on the dies, you can now pick those up. I love having coordinating dies, and scrapbook.com's include dies for the images and also the sentiments. And don't laugh because we're switching back to Christmas again. There's a new stamp set called Holiday. Has the large sentiment, happy holidays, joy, bunch of other fun sentiments, plus several different sizes of ornaments that you can layer together for a really fun look. Currently, the coordinating dies are not available, but they are coming soon. And now we'll switch over to Halloween. I have 2 small stamp sets. Happy Halloween on the left with the large sentiment and a bunch of little stars around it. And then Happy Pumpkin. We have a pumpkin wearing a witch's hat and the sentiment Happy Halloween. Next up is a word die set, Fun in the Sun. It includes the words and also the outline piece. And I love how the word sun is larger than the rest of the sentiment. Now, many of these products at one point were a freebie at scrapbook.com. So be sure to always check out their current deals, and I do have a link in the description box if you want to see what's currently on sale. The next couple of items aren't part of my creative team box, but they are products that I recently picked up from scrapbook.com, so I thought I would show them. With Halloween right around the corner, I thought it would be fun to have the Ghost die set. And I also grabbed a new alphabet die set. This one's called Modern. I have the upper and lowercase alphabet and also the numbers, and it includes punctuation. I love the font and size of this set. The last item I'm showing is currently not available, but it is coming soon. This is the highly anticipated magnetic mat from scrapbook.com. Be sure to head to the Coming Soon section on scrapbook.com's website. That way you can be notified as soon as it is available. So one side of the mat is their magic mat, and the other side is the brand new magnetic mat. The magnetic mat will replace one of the acrylic plates when you're die cutting. I'll grab one of the dies that's sitting right next to me. Grab the outline for the word sun, place it on the magnetic mat, and yes, this is magnetic since it's holding on to that die. Now when you're using it, you would first place your cardstock or pattern paper on the magnetic mat, then place the die on top. And because of the magnet, it will stay in place, and you don't even need to use scrapbook.com's mint tape. The new magnetic magic mat can be used facing up or down, so whatever your preference is when you're die cutting. Just make sure to flip it around and rotate it so you get nice even use with it. So I figured I would make a card and try out the magnetic mat right away. The pattern paper I'm using is from scrapbook.com's Sun Kiss collection. I selected the yellow tone-on-tone pattern, and I'll be cutting it out using a die from Pretty Pink Posh. This is their stitched torn rectangle die. I'm using the largest size. So I place the pattern paper on the magnetic mat with the design that I want cut out. Then I'll place the die on top, and you can see it's not moving at all. If I flip over the mat, so now I have the original magic mat side, no magnet on this side, the paper and the die do fall off. So I'll place my pattern paper again on the magnetic magic mat side. Then I'll run it through my black Platinum 6 die cutting machine by Spellbinders. For the other plate, I did use one of Spellbinders acrylic plates. It's their C cutting plate. Now the moment of truth, did this cut out? And yes, it did. It cut out beautifully. Of course, now I've cut into my brand new magnetic magic mat. As soon as the magnetic magic mats are in stock, I'll be purchasing a few extras to have on hand. So now I'll stencil on this pattern paper rectangle die cut. I'll grab my white silicone project grip mat from scrapbook.com. I believe this is a 12 by 12 size. You can see it lines up nicely with the 12 by 12 dark grid line on their white workspace mat. And the nice thing about using the silicone mat, it'll hold my stencil in place. I'm using the ice cream cone stencil set, and I'll start with the cone stencil layer. The ink color is Distress Oxide Vintage Photo, and I'm using the small size blending brush from scrapbook.com. They sell a variety of different sizes of blending brushes. The small is my favorite. I'll start at the top of the stencil, work my way down, try to get nice even coverage on the ink. Part of this background will be covered up with the sentiment, but right now I'll just make sure to stencil the entire area. So now I'll remove that stencil piece. With a wet baby wipe, I'll just wipe down the little area around my paper. Don't want to actually touch the paper since this is a wet baby wipe. Now I'll grab the second stencil layer. This one has the ice cream portion of the ice cream cone. I'll line it up with the background. Once I'm happy with the placement, I'll press it down on the silicone mat. Want to make sure it doesn't move. Now instead of ink for the ice cream, I'll be using the brand new Astro Paste from Simon Hurley. I have the Tropical Tango color. This is the first time trying this product, and I thought it would be perfect for some sparkly ice cream. Using a spatula, I'll get a good amount of the paste on my stencil. I'll gently wipe it across the entire area. I'll wipe some of the extra back into the bottle. Don't want to waste any of this paste. Then I'll use scrapbook.com's scraper to scrape it over the top, trying to get a nice even amount of the Astro Paste. There were a few areas that needed a little extra paste, so I'll just use the spatula and fill in those areas. I'll wipe off more of the extra Astro Paste back into the bottle. Now carefully I'll remove the stencil layer, and doesn't that look beautiful? And while the Astro Paste was still wet on the stencil, I did go and wash it off, and all I used was hot water. It wiped off beautifully. The bottle even recommends cleaning it while it's still wet. So now I'll zoom in a little bit. I have let this sit for about 30 minutes. You can see that beautiful sparkle. It's not completely dry, so I'll set it aside for now. I'll start working on the background using some of the yellow solid from scrapbook.com's Sprinkles Smooth Cardstock paper pad. And I'll be adding it on an A2 size card base. I'm using the Deluxe Adhesive Roller. I'll add adhesive along the outside edge and also a diagonal stripe in the center. Always want to make sure to have enough adhesive. For the sentiment box, I'm using a small piece of white pearlescent cardstock, and this is Spellbinder's brushed white cardstock. I'll layer it on some gold holographic paper from scrapbook.com's holographic mirror paper pad. And the sentiment panel is just a little bit wider than A2 size, so I did go and trim that down. For the sentiment, I'll be adding the word yum. And I'm using scrapbook.com's modern alphabet set, just the uppercase letters. The pink cardstock color is also part of the Sprinkles Smooth Cardstock paper pad. I love the large size of the letters. I'll line up the 3 letters on my background piece, and I'll start adhering them down using scrapbook.com's Artiste glue, and I have the ultra fine metal tip on my glue bottle. It's my favorite. I never take it off since it's perfect to get behind those small die cut pieces. I'll adhere the M down first. Then I'll add the U back on the panel without adhesive. Attach the letter Y. Now I'll put glue on the back of the letter U and adhere it down. And even though I just eyeballed it, I think I got even placement for the sentiment. So now I'll set that aside, check on my stenciled panel, trying to see if it's completely dry yet. There are a few areas that it's still slightly damp, but I think it's close enough that I can attach it on the background. I think one of the reasons I use pattern paper more than stenciling or all the fun different mediums is because I'm very impatient. I don't like to wait long enough to let things dry. You don't have to worry about that if you're just using pattern paper. Although that doesn't slow me down, I still love to add a fun paint splatter on the background or use things like this for stenciling. To adhere this stitched rectangle die cut onto the background, I put glue along that very outside edge, a little bit in the center, and I placed a large acrylic block on top for some added weight, and I'll let that sit here for just a few minutes. For this sentiment panel, I will be popping it up using foam dimension. I have the 1 inch and also the 1/4 inch foam roll from scrapbook.com in the 1 millimeter thickness. Make sure to get good coverage on the back. Then I'll remove the release paper and add the sentiment closer toward the bottom of the card panel, about 1.5 inches up from the very bottom. I didn't get it straight at first. Luckily, I was able to lift it up. Then I'll reposition it and adhere it in place. With all of the sparkle and shine on this card, I decided it didn't need anything else. So there is my finished card. I love how this turned out. And if you're curious about the glitter from the Astro Paste, once it dries, it does not come off. I checked one of the ice cream cones with my finger and no glitter came off at all. So if you like a lot of sparkle but don't like the glittery mess, you may want to try out Simon Hurley's new Astro Pastes. If you are interested in any of the products I showed in this video, I do have links in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.